Thank you for attending the Week of Kindness. Coming up next is another powerful, impactful, amazing speaker. Get your notepad out, get your pen. Let's get ready and enjoy. Hello there, Dr.
Hi.
Dante Sears. How are you,
Hi,
beloved?
Dr. Lisa. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing quite well, thank you. I'm doing quite well. We're going to let the room load a little bit here. And I'm just honored to be able to meet you virtually. Can't wait till we get to be in each other's presence physically.
Well, likewise, it's very good to meet you as well. I've been listening to the event, and you've just been doing a great job being very warm and welcoming to everyone. So thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for being here as well. So we're getting people in here. They're starting to come in. Everybody's beginning to know that you're out all over the interwebs. So while we're waiting for them to come in and make their way into the room, can you give us a little insight into yourself? And then I am going to go on and drop down whenever you tell me to. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Who is Dr. Dante Sears?
Absolutely. Well, hello everyone, and I can't say welcome to the week of kindness. Guess I have to welcome myself to the week of kindness. But I'm so thankful for all of you all tuning in and just listening to all these great speakers share their hearts. As for myself, I'm Dr. Dante Sears. I'm a metaphysical doctor and pretty much a serial entrepreneur. I come from the Sears and Roebuck genetic lineage, so I inherited um, all of the entrepreneurial retail. Uh, change the world attitude that came with that genetic lineage. A lot of people don't know, but historically, our family is always about rooting for the underdog and making the world a better place, not just for some people, but for everyone. And so that's definitely affected me in how I've gone about my life and my business. I think I'm being original, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to start this new real estate company where we make homes in a box, and we make it so that people can afford houses. And my friend's like, did you know that Sears did that originally and made it so that women and people of color could buy houses when they weren't allowed to? And I'm like, oh, I'm not original. I'm literally picking up my family legacy and carrying it on. The part of it that is unknown and the part of it that I think is the most important, which is, a lot of times we forget that, we're not in this ourselves in this world. My joy is your joy, is everyone else's joy. Like I could be just as happy and excited about my life, and I could walk by someone who's having the most miserable day. And even if I don't express it at that moment, it absolutely affects me. So it's totally changed who I am and how I do business, just realizing where I come from and the big shoes that I have to fill in this world. So, a little more about me. I started out as an actress and a model, and I wanted to be so famous and big celebrity. And it wasn't that those doors were closed to me ever. In fact, they were wide open for me. But what I found was that it just wasn't as fulfilling, and it wasn't it wasn't my path to be handed words and things to say when I had a whole message and a whole legacy of my own to create. So I did the modeling and acting thing, like you heard Eric. That's how we connected. We both came from the entertainment industry, and that's wonderful because it taught us how to get out there and share our message with people. But there was just something deeper for me personally. So I went into real estate, and I loved helping families to buy their first home. I'd meet someone and they'd say, oh, I hope one day I could buy a house. And I go, oh, you're going to buy a house. And they say, oh, one day. And I go, oh, no, this year. And I'd make it happen. And there was nothing like, that joy of helping a family, a hardworking family, get their first home, because, it's really ushering them into true wealth. A lot of people say, well, your house is your liability. Well, I'm sorry, but if I have a rental home, there's no time when I'm going to be able to tap into that rental home, take out the equity, pay for my kids to go to college, pay off my debt, take that money and create wealth, buying apartment buildings and things. So there's so much that we can do. And as I started to realize, people are listening and I'm having an impact here, I started digging deeper, like, okay, people are listening and I'm a role model. So how can I take my influence to the next level? How can I take what I'm doing and really change the world? And so that's what got me to where I am today. And Lisa, did you want me to keep going with that or did you want to ask me something?
No, you saw me, you felt me, because the minute you said, I'm a metaphysical doctor, I'm like, this is my sister right here. She
Sure.
is my sister because I have a doctorate in metaphysics and divinity.
Woo!
The consciousness that you are speaking of, and then I want to bring Tony in here too, because otherwise we'll get going and it'll be a wrap. Like there'll be nothing else to be said. But the consciousness that when you said that, you said, oh, we're going to do real estate and homes and for the lesser, the minority groups. And the fact that, oh, wait, didn't you know that your family did? You literally have brought forward the energy that flows through your bloodline, flows through your DNA, and you are reintroducing it in this lifetime, but at a higher level, a higher frequency, a higher consciousness. You just built line upon line, precept upon precept. And now this is the culmination of all that. So it's not necessarily, you might feel like you're not doing anything new, but what you're doing is doing something elevated, because all that was, now all is in you. That is just the most amazing. Okay, I need to stop because see, I'm a preacher and you gave me a mic and that's it.
I'm an ordained minister too, and you're definitely my soul sister. We have to talk after this.
Oh my gosh.
You
Yeah.
just lit up my world. I mean, you're like my, like, I don't want to say like Gail and Oprah, but okay, we have to do some things together.
That's it. We should see, Eric kept us apart. I don't know what was his problem. I'm just kidding. He did not, guys. I'm totally kidding.
You're not
Tony,
getting him in trouble, right?
I love this.
Tony.
I love this, what you all are doing. Eric was like, oh, I need you to do a speaking event. I was like, I'm not doing speaking events right now until I launch my platform. And he said, it's a week of kindness and gratitude. And I was like, okay, that is right up my alley because that is my platform. Of all the things I've done in the world, I just wanted to be rich when I was younger and famous, but getting those things and realizing that that's not it. That's not enough. As I'm sitting there thinking like, oh, I have this and I have that and I have all this money in the bank. And then I see someone, like I said, having their worst day or their worst situation, or as I'm selling these houses, I'm pushing up the neighborhood price 10% per month. So then I see hardworking families getting priced right out of the market. And I go, it's really funny because we think that wealth and prosperity is about us, but it's really not. Because, if you close your eyes and think about yourself, think about wealth right now. Like, what does that look like to you to be completely wealthy? Close your eyes. What do you see? Do you see the fancy cars, the houses, the bank account? Are you swimming through your money like Scrooge McDuck? But here's the thing. It is lonely at the top. I became a millionaire at 24 years old, and I had friends that were saying things to me like, well, you can't afford it. I'm thinking like me and my friends, we're flying to Bahamas, we're going to Jamaica, we're doing this, for that. And they go, well, I have to work and you can afford it. And I was like, I don't want wealth if it makes my friends miserable. I don't want wealth if it makes them feel bad about themselves. So I realized I'm not wealthy if you're not wealthy. Right? Because as you close your eyes and think about what it means to be truly wealthy, it's the people that are going to be there with you. It's the ability to help the people that you truly love. It's when mom needs a surgery or something that you have the money to do it. I'm sitting right now in a property where Steve Jobs himself was treated. They're talking the most money in the world, right? But the most money in the world could not save him, right? It did not save him. So at some point I started realizing it doesn't matter how much money I accumulate. If some disease takes me out, if my husband left me, if my child died. So true wealth is about the world that we create together. And
Yes.
even funnier was the friends that I had becoming a person of wealth were like, how do we get rid of the Hispanics? How do we get rid of the low income people? How do we stop these people from breathing?
Oh my God, today.
I was like, if I wasn't sitting here, they'd be going, how do we get rid of the people that look like me?
Yes.
So
But
I was
that
like, you
but
know
it's
what?
true.
True wealth. I was like, I am surrounded by a bunch of poor people, and all they have is money. And I don't want to be that poor person. I want to be the rich person that can
Yeah.
make a difference in someone's life because that's what lights me up. That's what
Yes.
excites me. That's what makes me feel powerful. As we were going, like, I was like, oh, I have all this money and I'm so wealthy. And the guy across from me, I'm going like, oh, I just got the new Jaguar. And he's like, well, we have the Bentley Arnage, at our house in south of France. And I'm going, oh, and the other guy's like, well, I have the Bentley Arnage Classic, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, so no one can win this contest because the more wealthy we are, we start going like, oh, I need a bigger property. I need more private schools. And it
Yeah.
just gets bigger and bigger, like
Yeah.
more expensive, and it takes away from our life.
Yeah.
So
There's never enough. You
is there
never have
never
enough.
enough? But you know what's going to happen is those people are going to pile up on your doorstep around your property. You're going to need security to keep your kids away from them, to keep them from getting kidnapped. But why not just turn around and actually be a part of the solution, right?
Yes.
Because I don't need that much money if we're all happy,
Yes.
right? It's not
Yes.
about that. It's about what impact am I making? And I'm not saying that money is bad, by the way. It is a great thing to have.
Yeah.
But how can we use our money and influence to really change the world and really impact this world? We are in the most critical stage right now of human development with technology taking off in one direction, threatening our existence, literally. And all of these developments, we have the ability right now to really change the world. That's what I'm really here to talk about today is like, how do we use our influence, our true wealth, our relationships, our network, our people, our genetic influences that have been given to us by years and years of hard work, generations? How do we bring that to the forefront to be the cog that we were born to be on this planet, right?
Being a
Because
conscious entrepreneur. Being a conscious entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong. Sadhguru, one of my favorite things he's ever said, he
love
said, you
him.
do not have to be poor to be pious.
Yes.
I
Now, we
heard you
probably
say that
shouldn't be
yesterday.
right?
It's,
We probably
it's
shouldn't be
perfect.
pious either, but you get the gist of it. We do not have to be poor to be woke, to be conscious. I even
Yeah.
hate the word woke. I prefer
Thank you.
conscious,
Yeah.
right?
You, you know what? With your permission, guys, I'll just sneak in here. But I've been in the Grammys and so many award shows and so many the music awards and the Texas awards and the both in English and Spanish. And the one thing that I've always noticed is that an award means nothing unless you've got someone to share it with.
Thank
Because
you.
the loneliest people in the world are the ones that go up there and I want to thank the Academy or whatever. But the reality is, it was the parents, it was the love, it was the children, it was the grandchildren. And if they're not there, and I've been the recipient of a couple of awards where I flew by myself to the award. Nobody was there to share it with me. And I was like, this was kind of empty.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Exactly.
I, I, I
Exactly.
want you. I don't mean to cut you off. I'm gonna drop us down because I need to give you the stage, honey. No, I know when I
Oh
got
yeah,
to get
yeah.
off the podium and let you do your thing. But what I would really, I'm gonna pose this question, and I'm gonna throw the rock and hide my hand. I'd like for you to talk about, because we're moving into the age where we're moving away from service to self. We're moving away from this need for a savior, so to speak, and we're coming into the age of knowledge of self, knowledge of our divinity, knowledge of our power, and knowledge of consciousness, being aware of the others and where we fit so that all of us can rise together. Now, I hope that was part of what you were about to talk about. If it's not, I'm sorry. We're gonna we're gonna duck down here, and we're gonna let you take it away, talking about conscious business, conscious entrepreneurship, and true wealth.
Awesome. Well, thank you, ladies. I just love the sisterhood. It's really beautiful. As I said, it's nothing without relationships. This speech is nothing without the people in the chat here, the people that are viewing at home that are connecting to this message, because I think it is the most important message that I could ever share. I spent so much time being an actress, and I, wanted to be on this like big show. And what happened is I got sued one day, and they put me on Judge Alex. And I found out first of all, I became more famous than any of my work ever. I've been on the face of Big Sexy Hair. I've been in all kind of music videos and, small parts and commercials and all this stuff. But Judge Alex, me being myself, all of a sudden I'd have like 75,000 people from one state quoting me and talking about what I said. And I realized, again, people are listening to me. People are doing what I'm doing and saying what I'm saying. So what do I really have to say to this hungry world? And it's not about, me. It's about we and what can we do together? Because I don't know about you, but me personally, no matter how great I'm feeling, if I walk by someone who's less fortunate than me and I see that they're miserable, it takes away from my happiness. That stays with me all day. I walk around and I just keep thinking of this person's story and how I can help. And so as I was building my multi-million-dollar real estate business, at the back of my mind, I was constantly, how can I do more? How can I affect the world more? And at the same time, I also grew up in the church. And so I'd always be like, you know what, God, I can't love you because you let people suffer, and I said this for like 15 years, God let me get away with it. Whether you believe God is, something outside of you or inside of you or the universe or source, I believe God is all of that and more. And it's really the energy that connects all of us. Like Einstein said, energy cannot be created nor destroyed, which means we are all living piece of God in the flesh, or in the imagination, depending on, if you think we're actually here or not, quantum physics. Okay. So my point being is this: we are all affected by each other. We are all a part of each other. I could not be who I am if it wasn't for all of you, for seeing you, interacting with you, talking with you, the little bits that people have added to my life. I was so arrogant, stubborn as a kid. And I had people that would just walk up to me and offer me advice. And I'd be like, I was just so arrogant. But later, it was like, bam, back of the head, that information would hit me. And I would think, I feel so dumb. I feel so bad. I wish that person knew how much I appreciated that thing they shared with me. I wish I could give back to them, right? Okay, so remember the movie Signs, and they talked about that. I want to tell you that no matter how big or small your role is in this world, you absolutely make a difference. It's the people that meant nothing to me, that said something to me when they felt the spirit, the intuition telling them to, even if I had a bad attitude and I didn't accept it, that absolutely transformed my life and made me the person I am today. So rewind, I'm sitting there, I'm making my favorite meal, shrimp fried rice, and I've got, $50 worth of shrimp and rice and the most exotic ingredients. I'm going to put a little seaweed in there, and I'm all excited. I'm cooking, and I was thinking, God, why do you allow suffering? I can't love you because you allow suffering. And suddenly it was like the frying pan hit me over the head. It was like, Dante, I don't allow suffering. You do. And I was like, huh? Me? I'm a good person. I do good things. I'm good. And it was like, really? Okay, well, what are you doing right now? And I was like, well, I'm making shrimp fried rice. And they're like, well, what's the shrimp doing? I'm like, what's the shrimp doing? It's getting cooked. And it was like, it's shrinking away from you. And I was like, what? And then the message was, how many lives have to be lost in your meal for you to be happy? And I was like, shrimp? Right? And so then I see this vision, and it's this family. Stay with me here, okay? Because I'm going to get to the meat and potatoes of this. I see this family, and they're sitting there and they're feeding their little baby at the table, and the baby's in the high chair, and the mom puts the meat in the baby's mouth, and the baby's like, yay. She opens the fridge, there's all kind of meat, and I'm like, and close the fridge. Then she goes back to the fridge to get the milk. And when she opens it, there were human body parts in all those packages sticking out with the plastic over it. And I was like, oh my God, how dare you? And God, source, was like, what's the difference? And I was like, what do you mean, what's the difference? Those are humans in that fridge. And I said, so those animals didn't have babies. They didn't have love. They didn't care. They don't feel pain. And I was just like, huh? And he said, how do you expect me to protect your baby and say, God, protect my baby. Don't let anyone harm it, so that you could raise it to destroy the lives of hundreds to thousands of other animals and teach their children to do the same? And I was just floored by that, because I was like champion meat eater. My parents were both athletes. my dad was like a triple triathlete. He would have been the first Bo Jackson. He died of cancer. And it was my lifelong mission to figure out what he did wrong, because I knew I was so much like him and I was afraid I would get cancer. And here I was staring at the answer right there. And it was, the change has to happen in you. And then I started seeing all of these ways that I don't care about how I get things as long as it's convenient. I didn't care how my cell phone was made. If people were, dying in the Congo for the ingredients of it, I didn't care. And once I just turned around and realized I am responsible for suffering. I am the reason, not God, not something outside of me. I realized the change has to happen here. Now, I'm not telling you to run out and go become vegan. This took a 10-year period of my life, but I immediately stopped eating meat, became a vegetarian, and my life changed so much, because when I stopped consuming something that was a part of the problem, I started to be able to see where I was a part of the problem. When I stopped eating things that had depression and anxiety and fear in them, I stopped emulating those things and started thinking differently, seeing differently, connecting differently to this world. So whatever that means to you is for you. For me, I realized I'm the reason why these people can't afford houses in the neighborhoods they want, because I'm pushing up the price, because that's my specialty. I'm the reason why these animals are suffering. And if I'm saying I need an animal butchered, then I'm also creating the person to butcher them, who might just be the sociopath who's picking up kids and harming them. So it really changed things for me after 15 years of asking God, why are you allowing suffering? Why are you allowing people to die? Why is this world so messed up? And he said, you are the reason. You. That gave me the ability to really turn around and look at what I'm doing and say, well, how can I be a part of the solution, right? How can I change my actions? And all of us, we can do this in really small ways. So I started to look at my business and think, okay, how can I change this paradigm? How can I create more affordable housing? How can I create more opportunities for people? How can I educate people to close that gap? Because instead of us saying, oh, well, what if we say, oh, me, right? What can I do? So as I started to do that, I started realizing two things. As I travel around the world, and I love to travel, by the way, I used to just travel all the time by myself. And I started realizing, no matter where I went, there's two things that are persistent everywhere you go. There are people and families trying to make their life, and there are the businesses that serve them all around them, right? And we as entrepreneurs, we are those businesses. So we have businesses, when we ask, what is wrong with the world? It is how we do business. It's how we shop. It's how we spend our money. We can't sit around and complain about how the world is and keep spending money, giving the power to the things that are wrecking our world. If we want to be truly conscious of what we're doing, if we want to leave a better world for our children than we found it, we have to be really responsible, because, a lot of people, they work so hard every day. And what do? They do it all to give it to their children. But wouldn't that be like filling up a bucket with a hole in it if you're not doing anything about the world that you're leaving them to, right? It's like I tell people all the time when I meet people that are in love and they're like, oh, we're trying to make money and we're trying to do this. And I'm like, you guys are billionaires, because you have the one thing that no one can buy. You have true love, whether that's from your family, your spouse. You are already wealthy. So the trick is to share that wealth with the rest of the world, with your choices, with how you spend, with the decisions you make, with the business that you create. You are going to be the change that either transforms this world to the better, or for the worse. And that's up to you. But if you close your eyes and say, oh, it's not me, someone else's problem, then we cannot guarantee the world to our children that we want to create. What's the point of you going to work, having a house for them, putting them through college, if you're not teaching them how to create a better world? Because we are all feeling the suffering in this world. There's a scientific study, and they found out that the human heart can be measured around the world. One heart can be felt on the opposite side of the world, can be measured. So what does that mean? And we're all water, right? So water, you can just touch water and it ripples, right? And I love what you all are saying in the chat, by the way. I'm reading you guys. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Be that ripple in the world, because I want my heart to put out a ripple that spreads prosperity, tranquility, that makes people feel empowered, that go, I want to be the next Dr. Dante Sears. I wanted to be the next Halle Berry, but I realized that wasn't my path. It wasn't my path to do that. It was my path to be someone that a little girl can look up to and go, I want to be like her. I want to be famous. I want to use my fame and my success to help other people to see that they are valuable, that they have an ability to change this world. Not one of us is powerless, right? Because again, your heartbeat can be felt around the world. What does that mean? That means that an animal's heartbeat can be felt around the world. So if we want to change this world, we have to reduce suffering. It's very important that we not be a part of another person's suffering. There is nothing greater in a day when I'm walking around and I just give someone a compliment who looks like no one has said something kind to them that day and see their whole face light up. That is wealth, people. So my organization, Wealth XO, we are all about creating solutions for prosperity for everyone. We are doing business with people who want to change the world. If you are a conscious business, if you are someone who's a humanitarian or a business person that is looking to make a great impact, I wanted to know you. I want to help you. I want to empower you. I want to share your business with the world. We're building an international directory of conscious businesses because most people are like, yeah, I want to do all those things, but I don't have time to research which business is harming the world and what portfolio they're tied to. I want to do that work for you. I want to create a platform where you can log in and know which businesses to feed to improve the world and which businesses to stop doing business with so that they can transform how they do business, right? Because people learn when they lose things, not when we keep giving them things. So we don't need to yell and downtrod these businesses. We just have to stop giving money to the people that are harming ourselves, our planet, and our future, and start giving money to the people who are helping us, right? There's these horrible sayings that we've been taught as human beings, and I've heard them so many times. I don't mix business with pleasure. You don't want to do business with your friends? You don't want your friends to win? You don't want your friends to be wealthy? Yeah. Or I only wear brand names. Huh? You don't do business with small businesses? You don't want the little guy to win? Then you're a part of the problem. But we've got to stop using these statements that have been blanketed and taught to us to ruin us and turn it around to help us and empower each other. So if you want to connect with me, you can go to DanteXO.com, XO like kiss and hug. All of my brand is Wealth XO, Dante XO, and we have many different solutions that we're rolling out to make us more connected, more conscious, and to spread the wealth, to have true prosperity. Because I'm truly wealthy when you're wealthy. I'm truly happy when you're happy. That's a huge job, but it starts here and then it multiplies, right? And so that's why I'm here to speak with all of you. And I want to say hi to Linda Marie Roy. I was so excited to see Linda that she won my Dr. Dante Sears Heart of Gold Award for Easy Way because she's a vegan and she really gets the message. And like, that was just one example of the universe coming through and going, this person right here is exactly the heart and soul of what you want to embody. And so I'm so thankful that she won my award. And thank you for all your amazing comments, Linda. So what I have to offer all of you is two things. One, I am writing an ebook. It's not done yet, but anyone who wants to book a 15-minute strategy session with me is also going to be able to reserve it. So I'm giving you 15 minutes of my time to tell me about your business, and then let's strategize on how you can be more conscious, more connected, and more prosperable with your business. Because I really think that this is the way of the future. In fact, Forbes is doing stories right now on how conscious business, socially conscious businesses are the new wave of the future, and why you need to care, why you need to have a company culture that gives back, because people are becoming more open, more connected. We're researching things, and we want to give to the people who are giving back. Is that you? If it is, please go to Dante XO, connect with me. There's a link there, and fill out the form to be able to book an appointment with me. And let's just talk. Even if you don't need a strategy session, I want to know you and I want to put you on my platform so that I can help show the world that these are the people. This is the generation of people that is here to take responsibility for what we've done, what we haven't done, and how we're going to move forward. Do you want to build a new world? If you do, put yes in the chat right now. If you want to build a better world, put yes in the chat. Lastly, as I said, I'm sitting on a property right now that Steve Jobs used to get treated at. And we are doing something mighty. We are creating a place where people can come together because, I love doing speaking events, but I want to take you to a speaking event where you're breathing fresh air, you're eating food that's grown in a garden, you're surrounded by nature, and the things I'm saying to you are permeating in a much deeper way that's creating a memory and a legacy within you that makes you want to go out and create the same thing. So if you go to projectthrive.us, that's our project we're doing. It's an international crowd fund. And what we decided to do is anyone who donates at least $500 is going to get their name on a plaque on the wall on our property. So that will be there forever, that you are a part of the legacy that's building prosperity for this world. And here we will have juiceries, organic gardens. We'll have our own studio where people can come and create conscious conscious media that we can use to affect this world for a better. This is a big job, guys. I can't do it without you. So if you are ready to be in a place together where we can push kindness together, where we can collaborate and go, what's the next big thing? We want to conquer water. We want to make sure we have clean water, clean air, clean food, houses that don't poison us, right? You don't want to go to work your whole life to buy a house that poisons your family. All of these things we have solutions for, and all we need is you. So if you're interested in creating a better world with me, please connect with me at dantexo.com. And there you'll find links to Project Thrive and the offer that I offered here. And I want to thank Eric Zuley for pushing me to come on this stage, Tony Kaufman for being an amazing angel who's come alongside us and just been such a wonderful force for bringing this into our lives. Dr. Lisa, my new soul sister, and Tony, by the way, we're going to have so many more talks. And you amazing people in the chat, let's connect. Linda Marie Roy, you will be on stage. $500 and your name is going on that wall forever with us. And we're going to create a new world starting with that community. And from that community, we are going to build communities where people can live and work according to their purpose. Because I believe everyone should have a home. Everyone should have an opportunity. Everyone should have an education. And the kind of mentors that I've been blessed with to have that will teach them how to make this world better. Because one day, these children that you see right now will be our bosses, our politicians, our leaders. And so it's our responsibility. And I hope you're with me.
I'm passing the offering plate. The doors to the church are open. Honey, I can't even begin to tell you. I have so many questions and I don't have enough time. I have so many questions. I have so much here that you are bringing to the world and fulfilling your own purpose. And we're hearing the same thing amongst all of us, all of the leaders, right? The new leaders, because the old leaders, it was more about leading by fear or leading by guilt or leading by shame instead of leading by empowerment and leading by love and leading by light and leading by caring. And yes. And so this is just tremendous to hear someone of your status and in life and how humble you are and how you've grown to understand, and understand what true wealth is, right? And what the purpose of us having access to and flowing in true wealth. I want to be sure I get these. Projectthrive.com. Is that true? Is that it?
Thrive.us.
.us.
Mm-hmm. That's our international crowdfund for the community. We originally wanted to first create a community for the homeless. We are a cryptocurrency powered community with our own currency so that people can actually earn and share a currency that increases instead of inflates and creates debt. And
Mhm.
as we started talking about it and looking at these communities, we're like, wait a minute, we first have to have a community for the leaders, for the empowerers. Otherwise, these people are going to take us over. So it's like,
Mhm.
first, we need the hub where we all come together from around the world and we just think and collaborate and spend days together. And then we go out with those projects and we can create multiple communities around the
Mhm.
world. Because truly, if you have an employee that is working according to their purpose and their passion, they are
Mhm.
going to over deliver like 600 times more than someone is there because they have to and they don't
Mhm.
want to be there. In fact, that employee is going to cost you money in every way, including their health declining because they're not happy. But if
Yeah.
someone serves from their heart, you could never pay them what they're worth. And
No.
so all we have to do is make it so that people can work according to their purpose. That's what our whole homeless community is about. They don't want to be pushed into working for something that they don't believe is them. That's
Mhm.
it.
Mhm.
But they all work. They all clean up and sweep the sidewalk and paint the walls and do all kinds of things. And so we just have to empower people. And that's what this is about, is creating a community where we can empower the world to be as it should be instead of as it is.
And all of that starts with just being proud to be one of them,
Mhm.
being proud to be there, being proud to of ownership, being proud of being able to say, this is my little tiny space, and you know what? I'm going to put flowers on every corner.
Mhm. Mhm.
And we had a homeless guy in
Absolutely.
our community that would go around and plant food, and then he would go and like leave fruits and vegetables. But then the businesses that were mean to them, they would trash them. And so it was like a real world example of how we treat people is what we get. And it's very simple, but we forget those small lessons that our parents taught us, like treat others the way you want to be treated.
Right.
Do to others,
Right.
right?
Right.
I love it.
Wow,
You're
Dante.
right, Lisa. We could be here for another hour, but
I there's been so much that has now run through my head while you were talking and run through my spirit, and I'm just going, "Girl, we have to talk. Girl, we absolutely have to talk." Like, this is the most major guys, this is exactly why I love being a part of these events like this. Because when you're a part of the event, whether you're a speaker or you're, watching,
yeah,
we all get to network and connect. You never know who you're going to meet, who you're going to hear, who you're going to see, that all of a sudden, boom, that's wow, we're connected soul to soul, energy to energy.
Um,
You never know. And that's why we really, supporting these types of events, being here, being a speaker, being a VIP, being all of those things. It's not so that Tony and I can make like some incredible amount of, we're not going to become millionaires, okay,
no,
off of that. And that's not why we do this. I know that's what I'm just along for the ride, but that's not why Tony does this. This is just amazing. Tony, I don't know if you had any other questions for, because we
no.
have a
I mean,
few
this is
extra
just the
minutes
beginning,
and
and I'm looking forward to 2023, Dante, because
Mhm.
we've got 3 retreats, and we've got fundraisers, and we've got ideas, and we've got, I see in my crystal ball a trip to California soon.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. The property that we have under contract right now is just phenomenal. It's got 5 houses on the property, 4 guest houses. We're building an underground apothecary, plant medicine fields, and we have a actually helicopter landing pad where Donna Karen herself and Tony Robbins has been here, and all kinds of people like that. And we want to make this a place that stands for abundance in the world. Every event that I go to, I'd be like, this is so great, but we're sitting in this hotel with like manufactured air, surrounded by
Yes,
a million cell phones. Sometimes I'd even get sick from just being clustered up like that. And I was like, how can I talk about abundance and prosperity? And I'm sitting here in architecture and air conditioning.
Mhm.
I really
Mhm.
just want to take these people and go, look, breathe, right? Like come
yeah,
outside of that. Because when I lived in the city and lived in an apartment, I was like, I could feel everyone's, energy, and I was all this
Mhm.
anxiety and stuff. And when I moved out here, I realized, wait a minute, that wasn't my anxiety. That wasn't my depression. That wasn't my anger. That was my neighbors. And
yeah.
pity them. But when people come out here and they go, wow, your biorhythms start to slow down and you realize this show that we've been a part of in life is just keeps us running. I always say it's a hamster wheel with a grinder at the bottom. And during COVID, they turned the grinder off, and we just, and we got off the hamster wheel
Kept
for a while.
spinning, yeah.
Good, we realized, like, wait a minute, we are more than just a hamster on a wheel trying to avoid a grinder. We are people with purpose, and we've got to do more than just live and die. If like you're put on this planet for a mission,
Mhm.
and let's say you came on a spaceship and your spaceship broke down and you landed somewhere, you go, oh well, I don't remember why I'm here, what I'm supposed to do, but let's just make some babies, have some families, and live and die a few generations here. You came here for a reason.
Yes, absolutely.
When he's pushing his son up that cliff, and he falls off, and it's like there are people who sweat blood and tears, dreams and hopes for who you are. They say we are our ancestors. We are ancestors' wildest dreams.
Yes.
And I was once thinking about, like, I know I'm related to Pocahontas, and like I'm pretty sure Cleopatra lineage. I've had many people say, I had a dream about Cleopatra and I saw you, and I'm like, hate to tell you, I'm pretty sure I'm her. And the thing is that I was thinking about like how great Cleopatra was, and I heard this voice say, to Cleopatra, you're a goddess. You are God.
So true.
Because the technology, the options, the abilities we have at our fingertips today, our ancestors, the greatest kings in the world, did not have these things. So we are truly wealthy right now. And all we have to do is realize it and share it.
Absolutely. You are a powerhouse. What came to mind was, it is having people like you and like everyone here in this chat, that we value the human connection, and we again, I'll use the word understand. We understand that we are more than just the avatar in the meat suit.
Yes.
We understand that the only way for us to survive and thrive going forward, the real honest technology, is the technology of love, the technology of the heart, the technology of energy, and that which we cannot see.
Yes.
And when we connect on that level, we cannot be stopped, and we cannot be broken, and we cannot be defeated.
That is right, woman. Yes. Absolutely.
Okay, I'm done for the day, Tony. I'm gone. I'm out.
Just one little quick note to people, because I started doing coaching a few years back, and at some point I started thinking, like, as I was progressing, especially as I was not eating meat, and again, this was like praying to God, like, please God, if you don't want me to eat meat, give me something to eat. Every meal I was praying to God, like, you want to get spiritual, go vegetarian after being like a crazy meat eater. And I would be like, if you don't want me to eat meat, God, give me an idea. And every day I would be inspired with something to eat. And what happened is I ended up growing all of my spiritual gifts from those practices of tapping inward when I didn't have the answers, to now, like, I can literally sit up at night and just grab information from the ether. I can come up with answers to questions that people are like, how do you know that? I'm like, I don't know, but look it up. It's true. And the thing is that it's spirit. So people will say, well, how do you do this or that? And I'd go, I'm not even sure how to tell people anymore, because everything I do starts here first. Right? There's no outward steps. If I want something, I envision it first. I see myself having it in the spiritual world first. And sometimes I just wake up and it's already there. It's already done.
Yep.
One quick story I want to leave everyone with, because I see I have a couple minutes there. I wrote this show called Dante's Intervention. And I wanted to do this reality show about how I intervene with people, because, when I became a metaphysical doctor, I found that I could reverse terminal, genetic, and incurable diseases through conversations on the phone with people. I'm talking people on their deathbeds, people with multiple diagnoses. And I'm glad I got a chance to say this for anyone who needs my help, by the way. I'm available for that. And so in that, I started realizing, like, wow, we have all this power that we don't even know that we have, and we just really have to tap into it. Okay, where was I going with that? Multiple diagnoses. Yeah, I lost myself. Am I going to find it? Yeah, I lost it.
So you started coaching. You said you started coaching.
Yeah, so I started coaching, and I was just realizing that everything that we do, it just has to start on the inside first. And you can really just envision what you want. And a lot of times it's going to show up in the field. So I decided I wanted to do this show, Dante's Intervention. And I was like thinking all these steps I have to do to find a TV network, and how am I going to get them to like me, and blah, blah, blah. And my brother's girlfriend says, you know, I was told if you want something that you should write it down in the mirror and who's exactly who you want to work with, and write that down and then go after them. So I wrote on the mirror, Dante's Intervention. I was like, I want to work on with the people who did the show Intervention, right? The next morning, I receive a phone call. And it was for a casting that I had submitted for. And the guy goes, yeah, you know, my name is Dino. And, you know, I work with all these different shows. And he goes, and, you know, I work with the producers of Intervention. And I went, what? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, I just decided yesterday I want to sell my show to the people who did Intervention. He goes, well, I'm the guy you need to talk to. I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah. He goes, so once we finish your interview, then I'll interview you for that. So conversation, one person. I made 0 phone calls, 0 submissions. And there I had a contract with the network that did the show Intervention. Now, I didn't end up doing the show because of a lot of other stuff that I realized I'd be better doing it by myself. But the point is that you can have anything you want. That's how connected we are. If you decide what you want, you envision it here, you see yourself having it, what it feels like, you might not even have to do that much work to get what you want. You really just have to get control of yourself in that inner world, that understanding. And from there, you can manifest everything. You can heal yourself. You can transform your life. You can bring so many things, but stop thinking about what you don't want. Stop saying what you don't want. Stop saying I'm broke, I'm unhappy, I'm depressed, I'm this, my anxiety. It's not your anxiety. It's the anxiety. It's not your depression. It's the depression. It's these circumstances and problems are not yours unless you own them. So cut them off and decide I am rich, I'm abundant, I'm beautiful, and I am amazing. You can't even say you're unstoppable, because what's in the word unstoppable? Stop, right? I'm not unstoppable. I am everlasting. I am omnipotent. I am empowered. Do you understand? So this is what I want to leave you all with, is stop using words that have things to do with what you don't want. If you think this world is hell, stop saying hello. Stop saying good morning, because we're not mourning. I say grand rising, because mourning is what you do when someone dies. So really think about what's coming out your mouth, what's going in your head, and start governing that, and you will see the world transform before your very eyes. And that's the world that I want to share with you in Project Thrive. So make sure you hit me up at Dante XO. I love you, ladies. Thank you.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, dear. Thank you. I wish I had my clapping. You know, amazing.
We need to get some sound effects. Yeah.
I do. It's in my other stuff. Like my other soundboard is not hooked up over here.
Post-production.
There you go.
I see a show between us ladies, because I see the new.
Oh, big time.
Oh, absolutely. It's already here. Okay. We're just going to talk about it. And I see retreats, and I see all kinds of conferences, some conventions. We're going to have fun.
I'm thinking the guest speaker ready might move from Austin to let's try a new place.
I think that would be fabulous.
Come down to paradise.
Oh my God, I love that.
Until it's torrential rain.
Historical. Yeah.
So historical. There you go.
Houston's the one that's always flooded, and California never has rain. And now it's like, what's up?
Guys, that was my fault. When I got this property, the people told me it's $20,000 a month in water bills. And I was like, I'm Native American, and we do rain dances and rain prayers. So during the summer, I started praying for rain, because this property was so dry, and I did not want to pay 20 grand a month for water. And you know that one day God said to me, Dante, how could you make it rain? And I was like, that's a funny question. And I was like, how could I? And he was like, think about her, the God, right? It's source. And I was like, well, what about June gloom? It started raining that day. This was the hottest summer ever. It started raining that day. And I went, wow, what else can I do? So I prayed for a lot of rain. I'm sorry, I'm done now. I want the sun, but I prayed for a lot of rain. It is so green here, you guys.
But the other thing is that my son, who's also very in tune with the earth, says, okay, the worst thing we can do We need to stop planting carpet grass in the desert. We need to stop planting trees that don't survive unless they've got a ton of
Mm.
water in places where it doesn't rain. So we need to start. I mean, look out. I saw your property the other day, and I'm like, see, that's a natural tree that will grow there because they grow wild. And
Yes.
that's
Mhm.
exactly where we've been hurting ourselves in all these planned urban communities that have all these, all like Vegas. Carpet grass doesn't grow in Vegas. Sorry.
And we've been creating a desert, people say like,
Yeah.
oh, well, lions eat meat and all these animals do. But they say in the Garden of Eden that all the animals ate the fruits and vegetables. And do we
Mhm.
ever think that if there was enough fruits and vegetables everywhere, that the animals probably would stop eating each other too? It's not fun to like dig into somebody's body and eat it like it is to eat something that grew from the earth. When I was a kid, we would walk home from school and there were fruit trees, nut trees everywhere. We would be full by the time we got home. I never got sick as a kid because I grew up like that, just walking around eating food. That's the Garden of Eden that we want to create here. We want little kids to grow up actually being able to walk around and eat food because money does grow on trees. It's called food. Look at your grocery bill. Guess what? It's printed from the tree. Money grows on trees, people.
My mom, my big brother, one time when he was in high school, tried to run away from home. He did the "I'm mad at you, mom. I'm leaving." And my mom stood at the door and she opened it and she goes, "As soon as you find the tortilla tree, you tell me exactly where it is, okay?"
We don't get that lucky, and hopefully the tortilla tree cooks it itself too, because we don't. Yeah, I had just eggs in my fridge for like. I mean, I found out the eggs can last like a year in the fridge when I moved out of my house as a kid. I don't eat them anymore. But my point is, young people, they don't even know what food is anymore. Like, when did we
Yeah.
stop eating? When did we start eating food that we didn't even look at the package and see it's got things we can't even pronounce anymore?
Pronounced,
Yep.
yeah.
There's chemicals in some of that food called forever chemicals. Your body is water. Forever chemicals never come out of the water. Why do we just eat these things? Why do we pollute ourselves and our bodies and then complain about it? We just have to stop. And this is where it
Yep.
stops right here by us collaborating, speaking, and coming together to create solutions.
Absolutely.
And you guys, thank you so much. This is just the beginning. Again, this is the week of kindness and gratitude. And remember that we're helping Better Vision for Children. So your VIP upgrade tickets, it's $97, and we're trying to raise $10,000 to give to Better Vision for Children, of which I'm honored to be on the board. And so just this is just the beginning, Dante. I've been dying to hear you speak.
And
You
our
far
team is
exceeded our
actually,
expectations. I love you. But
thank
you
you.
know
Our
what? I
team is
knew, I
actually
knew
making the Better Vision website too. So look out for that. It will
that's
be
true. We've got the
Mhm.
link and we've got the video. Uh-huh.
Yes, awesome.
All
Well,
right.
Dante, we're gonna let you step down and thank you. I'll be
Thank
calling
you.
you. I have your number, so we'll be talking um, a lot. And Tony and I. Wow, I hope you enjoyed that just as much as I did. Thank you so much for all of that great information. Hey, we're not done yet, so just relax. We're going to continue on with our next speaker in just a few moments.